Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video about one of the world's up and coming young talents, and that is Azzedine Ounahi, who plays for Morocco at the World Cup and also has played for Angers in the Ligue 1 in France this season, and has had a good season for Angers, becoming one of their best players in their team. Unfortunately, they're not having an amazing season this year, but he's not doing too badly. But the main reason everyone's talking about him at the moment is his performances in midfield for Morocco at this World Cup, as they managed to reach the semi-final of the tournament, which was a really incredible achievement. First African team to ever do so in the history of the World Cup. And yeah, he was an integral part of that and played a huge role in midfield alongside Sophie and Amrabat, who also had an amazing tournament. And it definitely is a contender for the greatest African team of all time. I mean, even though they, by how well they've done at this World Cup, they technically are the greatest, but they didn't, win the African Cup of Nations at the start of the year. So there's things you can say for and against them. But for Ounahi, he's a brilliant player. The one ability that everyone talks about with him is his dribbling ability, which is absolutely obscene at times. How quick his feet are, how he's amazing in tight spaces, can wriggle out of any situation when he's under pressure. And the one performance that I was really impressed by with him this tournament was his performance against Portugal in the quarterfinals. I thought he was absolutely amazing in that game. And even though Morocco didn't create tons of chances in the game, I thought he was amazing at just picking up the ball inside his own half and getting past players and just relieving the pressure off that defence, which was, weakened to say the least during the tournament with injuries, Naif Aguerd and who else? Romain Saiss, Mazraoui, all picking up injuries, which was really unfortunate, because you wonder if they'd managed to keep these players fit. And they did try to in the semi-final against France, but against France, really high quality opposition, and the defenders had all three of them were off the pitch by half time. I think one of them didn't even managed to start the game. So yeah, it was a really tricky situation they were in. But Ounahi was brilliant, because I think without players like him, Amrabat and Naziri, Ziyech and Boufal in forward areas on the pitch, I don't think they'd have been able to get as far as they did. They certainly would have found it a lot more difficult against Spain and Portugal, where they kept clean sheets in both games, which is an amazing achievement. It just shows that their backup defenders are decent as well. But yeah, Ounahi, brilliant dribbler of the ball, brilliant passer of the ball as well. And the one thing people have said about him when looking at him is his goal record's not amazing. He's only, as far as I know, got a few goals in his career. I think it's below 10 possibly, which isn't horrendous given that he's only played about just over 100 career games, but it's certainly something he could potentially improve on. But then not all midfielders are amazing goal scorers or have great goal records. You don't have to be a prolific goal scorer to be a great attacking midfielder, and I don't believe that Ounahi is just a great attacking midfielder. I believe that he also he contributes well defensively, as he showed throughout the tournament with Morocco, winning the ball back in midfield and then bringing it forward. It's not just like a case of he gets the ball passed to him and runs forward with it. He can also do the dirty work and win the ball back for his team and then get it up the pitch himself or play it out wide, which is something I was really impressed by. He's been linked with a number of big clubs, obviously, since the tournament began, and that usually happens with at least a couple of players during the World Cup, and there has been a couple this tournament. He's definitely one of them, so it would be interesting to see if he does take a step up in quality of the players around him. No offence to Angers, but in the next year or so.